Guys, this is something that I've been doing for many, many years. I first put this together with my old business partner, a guy called Russell Leeds. Myself and Russell, we workshopped this. And to be honest, he actually did it more than me. When we put it together, he was the one that went out and did this. And I didn't do it as much. And every time I watched him perform and I saw the reactions he's getting, I'm like, why am I not putting this in my act? When I started putting it in my act, I never looked back. It's a combination of a whole bunch of different card to pocket routines. I've basically taken the best card to pocket routines from a whole bunch of different performers, added a little bit of my own personality into it as well. And what you have is card to pocket extreme. It's a multi-phase routine where the card continues to go in the pocket over and over again. Now, anybody who's performed ambitious card will know that this sort of format in a real world condition setting works really well. The reason ambitious card works is because when that card keeps coming to the top of the pack again and again and again, it engages people. They know what to expect. And even though they're watching carefully, they can't imagine it happening. Well, it's the same with this. The card goes into the pocket over and over again. And just when they think they know what's going on, the card ends up going into a completely different pocket and it's in full view the whole time. And then you've got that wonderful card to pocket routine finale that was first popularized by David Williamson, where the entire deck goes into the pocket. Now, the nice thing about this, like I said, it's a shuffled deck in use. So there's no gimmicks, there's no extras. You can go into this anytime you want to. You just need to have a pocket accessible and you are good to go. And there's a lot of different moves in here that you can use and combine into other routines that you might perform. This is a real world working routine. This is one of my 1,000 timers. I perform this a lot, and I think that when you learn it, you'll perform it as well. Without further ado, let's have a look at a full performance of the routine. Okay, the cool thing about this, there are no setup requirements. You're going to need a deck of cards, doesn't even need to be a full deck, and you need a marker pen. You're going to have the card signed. In all honesty, guys, if you don't have the card signed, it's nowhere near as good. The fact that you can have this card signed and yet it still continues to go into the pocket is one of the things that makes this so strong. So grab yourself a Sharpie marker, grab yourself a deck of cards, and let's go. So I've got Sarah behind the camera with this one. You're going to help me, is that all right, Sarah?
Yeah.
It's a regular shuffled deck in use. It's anytime, anywhere. And I need to do something before I start. I need you to see that my pocket is empty. Can you see that? I don't want you saying later on that I've got stuff in my pocket. My pocket is empty. Now you're going to pick a card. Normally you'd pick a card and I wouldn't look at it. But obviously you're behind the camera, so I'm going to let you look at the card. So is there one that you like the look of as you go past? You're going to write your name on it. So
let's go for the 5 of hearts.
That one right there.
Yeah.
You sure you're happy?
That's fine. Yeah.
Cool. If you're happy, I'm happy. So I would normally at this point give you the card and let you write your name on it. But I'm going to write your name on it for you instead. So we have your card right there, the 5 of hearts. Can you see that?
Yes.
Now I'm going to show you something crazy with the 5 of hearts and with the pocket. And there's a rule in magic. You don't normally tell the audience what you're going to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop your 5 of hearts down in the middle of the deck. I'm going to leave it in there, and then right in front of your eyes, I'm going to try and make your card disappear and appear in my pocket. Would that be pretty good?
Yeah.
So I've told you what's going to happen. I want you to watch very carefully. Your card is going to disappear from the deck, go in my pocket. It happens when I snap my fingers. Done. Nothing in my hand. I want you to see that in my pocket, there's one card and one card only, and that would be your card. There you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No.
No, seriously, I wouldn't cheat you. Hang on a second. Let me... That's the card, right?
That was my card.
Exactly. See, what happened is the card went up the sleeve, across the manly chest, down the other sleeve and into the pocket. That's what happened. Although you don't believe me, so I'll do it again. Look, the card really does go down in the middle. You can see that, right?
Yeah.
You leave it down in the middle. Nothing happens until you snap. And when you snap, you show your hand empty. You reach into the pocket and you pull out the card, and it works every single time. Now, when people see this, they try to come up with ways of how it's done. And some people think that I've got a pocket full of cards, which is why I always show my pocket empty at the very, very beginning. Okay. The other thing that people think that I do is they think I palm the card, which basically means holding the card secretly in my hand like that. So they think I hold the card secretly in my hand and I reach into the pocket and I bring it out. But I don't do that. You see the card going down into the middle. always, and you see me snap my fingers, you then see the hand empty, you see me reach into the pocket, pull the card out, and it works every single time. So now you know what's going to happen. I'll do it for you one more time. But Sarah, I'll tell you how to spot what's happening.
Okay.
All you have to do is watch the pocket. People try to follow the card, but don't follow the card, follow the pocket. If you watch the pocket, you'll see it go, because that's ultimately where it's going to be. So your job is, don't let me misdirect you. That means making you look somewhere else. Don't watch the card, watch the pocket. Even if I tell you to watch the card, don't watch the card, watch the pocket. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the pocket the entire time. It's going to happen on 3. 1, 2, 3. Did you see it happen?
No.
Did you see it go in the pocket?
No.
That's because it didn't go in that pocket. It went in this pocket up here, Sarah. Check that out. Right there. In that pocket is the card. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this one final time, Sarah. Big finish. And I'm going to do the pocket that you're not normally meant to do. Very difficult pocket to get it into. I'm going to go for the back pocket. Are you ready? One last time. I'm going to do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's when every single card in the deck goes, except for the 5. And over here in the back pocket, that would be every other card in the deck. So this is a routine that I put together many, many years ago with a guy called Russell Leeds. We developed this together, and it's an amalgamation of different card to pockets and works really well for my requirements. What I like about this is it's a completely shuffled deck of cards in use. You can get into this anytime, anywhere. And because, and I'll talk about this more in the afterthought section, but because there's lots of phases, you can take phases out and add phases in, depending on the requirements for your particular performing style. Let's get into it. So you've got a deck of cards. I'll typically hand the cards out to be examined at the beginning and have them shuffled. And when I go into this routine, I say, look, before I start, I want you to see that my pocket is empty. That's important. And I tip my pocket inside out to show it's empty. Now I leave it out. This does 2 things. This gives me a reason to put the pocket back in later on, but it also shows them that my pocket is empty. So what's going to happen is they're going to pick a card. Now I still think I've got Sarah's 5 of hearts, so we'll use that one, as that's already been signed. There it is. There we go. So they pick a card. And obviously Sarah's behind the camera, so I signed it for them. But the best way to do it is to have them pick a card and sign the card without you knowing what the card is. Now, while they're signing the card, you're going to just nonchalantly put the pocket back into your pocket. The lining is going to go back into your pocket, and at that point, you're going to load an indifferent card into the pocket. How you're going to do that is you're going to palm a card. So while they're signing this card, you're going to palm a card. Now, while I was doing the studio performance, Sarah's behind the camera, so I had the card signed, and then I put it on the bottom of the deck and I palmed the card. But the best thing to do is, while they're signing the card, use all the misdirection of them signing the card to just palm the top card of the deck. Now, I'm not going to talk about palming right now. Go look into net tricks. I'm just using a classic top palm. I'm just topping the deck and I'm just getting that card into the right-hand palm, classic palm position. Look at the slight section and you can see in great detail how to palm a card. What you're going to do is, as they're signing that card, you're just going to go with this signed card and you're just going to apparently put the lining back into the pocket and you're loading that indifferent card in there. Done. So now they give you the card back, you lose it down in the middle and you control it to the top. Again, any control is fine. Go check out the slight section. There's lots of controls there. So, once you've controlled the card, if you want to give the deck a couple of full shuffles, keeping the stock on top, you can. At some point, you're going to tell them what's going to happen. You say, I'm going to make that card go into my pocket. Now, this phase is from the Stars of Magic. It's Francis Carlisle's homing card, which is an amazing routine. It absolutely is. This first phase is all him. So what's going to happen is it's very much a misdirection thing. You're basically going to take this card and put it in your pocket, but under misdirection. So the card's on top of the deck. You're going to be ready to palm the card. So you need to get ready to palm that card. And you're going to say, look, I'm going to make that card go into my pocket. You snap your fingers, you show your hand empty, and then you reach into the pocket and you bring out this card and you say, there it is, your card in my pocket, thank you very much. And without showing it, you put it back into the pocket. Now, everybody will look at you and go, what? That's not my card. You didn't even show the face. Now, in that that's an offbeat. because you've had everyone laser focused on the pocket. You've told them what's going to happen. You've then shown them a card, but you haven't shown them the face. They think it's a gag. They relax at that point. And on that offbeat, you just palm the top card of the deck. And you go, what? You want to see the card? No problem. And as soon as you palm the card, you reach into your pocket and you pull out the palmed card and you show that it's the signed card. So it's a really nice sequence. As I say, it's Francis Carlisle's homing card, but there's a second phase for this. What that does is that sets up a second phase. And again, this is Francis Carlisle. It sets up a second phase where the card goes back into the pocket again. So you've just shown them this card and you've just shown them that the card has gone into the pocket. And you say, look, some people think I throw the card up the sleeve, across the chest, down my other sleeve and into my pocket. I don't do that. And as you say that, I've just switched for the indifferent card that's in my pocket. So what you do is you show the signed card and I go up the sleeve. As I say, some people say I throw the card up the sleeve and across the chest. As I go across the chest, I turn the card so the back is towards the audience. And as I say, it goes down the other sleeve and into the pocket. I put this card into my pocket. I immediately grab the other card and I come back out. Now, and that's the indifferent card. Done correctly, people will still think this is the signed card. The key to this is not to fumble in the pocket. I've seen people do this and they kind of spend ages in the pocket and then pull it out, and that telegraphs the move. The way that I do this, imagine this is my pocket and it goes up the sleeve, across and down. I'm holding this card between my thumb and my forefinger. I just go into the pocket, I grip this between my forefinger and middle finger, let go of that card and I come back out, and as it comes back out, I transfer it to this grip. So in full speed, some people say I take the card, I throw it up the sleeve, across the chest, down the other sleeve and into the pocket. I don't do that. So it's only out of view for a split second. Now you take that card, you put it down into the middle of the deck, you show it, snap, do whatever you want to do, and you're now going to be able to show that the card's back in the pocket, but you're going to be able to show your hand empty. Now what you get, and that's where Francis Carlisle's routine ends. What you're going to do, as you take this card out your pocket, you're going to reverse the top card of the deck. And this is just a really old move. All that you're going to do is you're just going to push the top card of the deck off. You're going to push it against your leg, and you're just going to literally just rotate the deck onto the card. So the card ends up reversed on top of the deck. You're just going to do that, okay? So that's all you're going to do. You're just going to push that card off, push it against the leg, and rotate the deck onto that card. Now, the reason they don't see that is because everyone's focus is on the pocket. So you show your hand empty, you body turn to the right. So everyone's looking here. This is all happening completely angle proof. No one can see what's happening with this hand. And everyone's focusing on this pocket. As I bring this out and I come back round, that top card has been reversed onto the deck, which is great because I'm now set up to do a double lift. So you put their signed card onto the top of the deck, so you're now ready for a double lift. And what you're going to do now is you're going to say, now let me explain. A lot of people think that it's done one of two ways, which it's not. Some people think that the pocket has loads of cards in it, which is why I show it's empty. Now you show the pocket is empty again, because you can, because there's nothing in there. You then put the pocket back inside, and you say, some people think that I palm the card. Now, palming cards means holding the card secretly in my hand. And as I say that, I do a double turnover, but I have the card in-jogged. So I've got this double card in-jogged, which means I don't need to fiddle around for a break or anything. And I literally just palm both cards into a classic palm position, as if I'm demonstrating a palm. And say, some people think that I palm the card, and then I just put it in my pocket and pull it out, but it's in my hand the whole time, and I don't do that. And all I do, when my hand goes into my pocket, I leave the signed card and I pull out the indifferent card. Now, there's a lot going on there, so let me just perform that sequence at speed. You say, now some people think that what I do is I have a pocket full of cards, which is why I show my pocket as empty. Some people think that what I do is I palm the card in my hand like that, secretly hold the card in my hand, and then I reach into my pocket and I pull it out. But I wouldn't do that. So now you've got an indifferent card here, and once again, you've loaded the card into the pocket. So now all you're going to do is you're just going to push it into the front of the deck, snap your fingers, and you say, it's done. And you show your hand empty, and you reach into your pocket and you pull out the signed cards. That's like the fourth time it's gone into the pocket, the third or the fourth time. You're now going to go into a sequence by Matthew J. Dowden. He first published this on his Party Animal video, DVD by Alakazam Magic. This is an amazing sequence that's a little bit like card to mouth, but it's going to load the card into the top pocket. So if you're wearing a suit, that's perfect. If you're wearing a shirt like this with an open pocket, that's fine. If you're not wearing something where you've got a pocket up here, you're going to have to change the, maybe miss this phase out. But I always wear a jacket or a shirt when I'm performing. What you're going to do, here's the sequence. You're going to get a break above the bottom card with your thumb. So you're holding the deck in end grip, you've got a break with your thumb above the bottom card. You swing cut or kick cut half the cards over into the left hand, and you flip that card face down. Okay? Now, so the card is right there, flip the card face down. Now all you're going to do is push that card forward, and as you do, you're going to leave this card that you've got a break above on top of the card over here. Let me show you what I mean. So you're going to come over and you're going to push that card forward, apparently to give it one last look. And you're going to leave that card on top of there. Now, they don't see that because you turn your hand at the same time and you say your job is to watch the card, don't watch the pocket. So you're telling them that you want them to watch the card, which means you're telling them you want them to watch the pocket, not watch the card. That's what they're going to do. So no one's going to be looking at this top pocket because you're telling them to watch down here. You're apparently telling them how the trick works. So now you turn this deck back round, and as you do, your forefinger pulls that card back in. So they think this is the signed card, but in actual fact, it's the indifferent card. Let me do that in full speed for you. So you say, now here's how it works. You just need to watch the pocket. Don't watch the card, watch the pocket. A lot of people try to follow the card, but ultimately it's the pocket where it's going to end up. So watch the pocket. So now I'm in that situation. Now, before I turn this hand over, I fan these cards out in my right hand. Okay, and then I turn this over and I put this card here. So now they think this is their card. Their card is actually here. This is like the classic card to mouth. Now what's going to happen here is you come forward and you keep saying, watch the pocket. Now all you're going to do with your left hand is you're just going to push that card, just the top card, over as if you're pushing it up like that. You're just going to use your thumb to push it up and to the left until your forefinger can curl round on top of it and angle it up in that position. Okay, so your forefinger is going to angle it up in that position. And now what you're going to do is when the card's angled in this position, you're just literally going to put it into your top pocket. But you have to practice that so you can do it without looking at your top pocket, all right? So you need to be able to do it without looking at it. Now, it's a very blatant move. There's a couple of reasons why it works. The first reason is there's one of two places where the audience is going to look. They might be looking here at the card because maybe they think you're lying about the pocket and so they should be watching the card, in which case they'll be looking here, or they're looking at the pocket and they're listening to what you say. Nobody is looking here. But to give you further misdirection, you come forward like this and you get them to push the card into the deck and everyone looks there. And as you do that, you body turn to the left. So as I'm loading this up here, nobody's looking up here. They're all looking over here. Okay? So they push it in like this and you go, great, did you see it go in the pocket? And they'll say no. And you say, not this pocket, this pocket, and you'll see it just sticking out over the top, and it's an amazing moment. It takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of audience management, and there's a lot of misdirection built into it, but it's a really cool move. Let me just cover that whole thing in full speed. So it goes like this. You say, now I'll tell you where to watch. You don't watch the card, watch the pocket. Ultimately, that's where it's going to end up. And the mistake that a lot of people make is they try to watch the card. But don't watch the card, watch the pocket. I promise you, if you watch the pocket, you'll see it go. So I'm going to put the card right there in the middle of this fan. Can you push it in for me? But make sure you watch the pocket. Very good. Did you see it go? Did you see it go in the pocket? What, you missed it? That's because you were looking at the wrong pocket. You should have been looking up here. And then you've got the card in the pocket. Beautiful moment. Now, you're going to use the built-in misdirection of this card appearing here to ditch the deck. So you look up here, and they think this is the end of the routine. So you go this pocket here, they see that, they react. They'll normally be looking at each other, they'll be laughing, and it'll be an offbeat. They won't be looking at, they won't be focusing on what you're doing. So at this point, all you're going to do is body turn as if you're showing the card around to everybody. You've took it out of the pocket, you're showing it around to everyone, and you're just literally going to drop this deck into your pocket, either your side pocket or your back pocket. You're just going to load this deck, you just drop it in there. Nobody is looking at the deck. They're all looking here, they're talking to each other. This is the sort of thing that's a bit ballsy, but I promise you'll get away with it. So you're left holding nothing, but you kind of hold your hand as if it's a deck. And you immediately put this card on top of the deck. So it now looks like you're holding the deck of cards. In reality, there's only one card here. Now, you might be watching this thinking you're never going to get away with this. Anybody who's ever done a deck vanish where they ditch the deck into the pocket will know how deceptive this is. Don't run if you're not being chased. Nobody's going to look at this and thinking, well, the deck's not there. They saw the deck a second ago. They see this. They assume it's the deck of cards. To make it look more like a deck of cards, run your thumb along the back, fingers on the front, forefinger curled on top. It looks like a deck. You don't hold that position for too long. You say, look, I'll do it one last time. I'll make it jump into my left-hand pocket. Watch, it's going to happen on 3. And I cover up the entire deck and I go, watch. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Did you see it go? And I go, no. And you go, what? You didn't see it go? That's when the entire deck vanishes, leaving just one card. And over here in the pocket, that's the rest of the deck. And you reach in and you take out the deck of cards and you can give them their card as a souvenir, or you can do whatever you want to. You're left with a regular deck of cards. It's an amazing routine. It's called Card to Pocket Extreme. So that's the routine, guys. As you can see, there are a lot of phases. Now, I like it when I'm doing multi-phase routines because depending on the environment, I might drop phases, I might add phases. If I'm in a situation where I'm at a gig and there's lots of people, I've got lots of people to get round, I might skip a couple of the phases in the middle and just go for the first couple of phases and then the kicker finish. If I've got more time, I might include all the phases. So don't worry about the fact that there's lots of phases. You don't have to do all the phases. In fact, when you're learning this, you can actually take it phase by phase. And if there's any card to pocket routines out there that you like the sequences in those card to pockets, you can combine it all together. So you can take elements of card to pocket extreme and you can take elements of other card to pockets and put it together into one massive routine that fits your personality and works for you. Don't be afraid with the final phase. That final phase where the deck goes into the pocket. I see a lot of people that are really worried and nervous about that, like openly ditching the deck into the pocket. Please don't be. Try it out. You'll absolutely love it. The nice thing about this routine with restaurant workers as well, by the way, you know when you work at a restaurant and sometimes they bring the food out halfway through the routine and you kind of just spent 10 minutes building up to nothing. There's lots of magical moments throughout this routine. So even if the food gets brought out halfway through, they're seeing that card go into the pocket 3 or 4 times, so they've still seen some magic, and that's another nice thing about this routine. One other thing to consider, by the way, is when you take the deck out of the pocket at the end, it doesn't necessarily have to come out of the pocket that you ditch the deck into. What I mean by that is if you ditch the deck into your back pocket, for example, and then you say that the deck has gone into your, your left-hand pocket, you can ring in another deck of cards. They're not going to know that that's not the same deck that you've been working with, so if you've got a stacked deck, maybe using a mem deck or something, or maybe using a Sully Stebbins deck, or maybe you've got a deck set up with some gaffs for a routine that you want, you can use the finale of this routine to ring in a cooler and ring in a completely different deck of cards, which allows you to transition into a routine, and they're going to think that the deck is still in play that they've been using at the beginning, so they can have cards shuffled and cut and ripped up, and yet you can bring in this gaff deck at any point you want to. So there's a lot of really big pros with this routine. I know you're going to love it. Have fun performing, and thank you very much for checking out Card to Pocket Extreme.